Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this great Monday morning? Beautiful November morning. It was like 70 degrees, 70, 80 degrees over the weekend. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I've got a very special guest this morning by the gentleman by the name of Ahmed. Ahmed is the real estate guru with a big heart. He's also an international speaker. He's an award-winning best-selling author, coach, mentor. Most passionate about his dedication to his not-for-profit I'm sorry. It's called the Upside of Down Syndrome charity, and we're kind of talk a little bit about that as well with Ahmed. And let's bring Ahmed in. Ahmed, hey,
Good
sir, how are you
morning.
doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you asking to be on this program. I
Yeah,
look forward to it.
thank you very much. So, you've got a lot going on. You're an international speaker. You've been on stage with guys like Les Brown, the original Shark guy, Kevin Harrington. So you've been, Bob Proctor. So you've been sharing the stage all over the world. I think you mentioned like London and Toronto, and you're right here from Ohio, right, northern Ohio. Okay, so
Sure.
tell us a little bit about yourself, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for having me on your amazing show, and
Yeah.
I'm really, really grateful for having the opportunity to share with your audience and anything they might want to know as much as I know about the real estate. And my name is Ahmed, and I am a strategic business development expert and known as the real estate guru with a big heart. I am an author, publisher, as you have said, and more importantly, I am a father and a husband. I am a friend, and I love to be able to serve. That is the biggest thing about me.
Yeah. That's awesome, Ahmed. And so, like, one of the things that, I want to really kind of focus on a little bit at the beginning here. You've got a really good passion and a pretty big why that you're really working for. Tell it. I normally start off a little bit differently, but I want to hear more about your charity that you've set up and why you're setting this up.
Absolutely. The my cherry called. It has the most amazing name. You ready?
Yeah.
The upside of Down syndrome. Most of us don't even realize, like, we see Down syndrome as a disability.
Yeah.
I focus on the upside of being Down syndrome is the fact that it taught me a lot, it helped me a lot. And my son has Down syndrome. He's 28 years of age. His name is Ismail. And 2013, I was paralyzed in about 7 weeks. I went from rehabbing two houses, walking, doing everything else I'm doing, to the point that I'm swaying the winds and I could no longer use my left side. And I actually drove myself to the hospital personally to make sure I get there. My wife says, I'll take this. I said, nope, I'm going there right now. My left side, right leg still works. I walked in the hospital, I gave him the key, and I said, I think I'm checking in for a while. Sure enough. The story behind it is when I got paralyzed, when someone has an ability, and I'm rehabbing two houses, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're no longer able to do the things that you normally thought you were doing, surgery later, 5 months worth of recovery and trying to get to walking again. On one of those days, I was really getting depressed,
Mhm.
and and I was really going down. And I have been depressed before, but I don't want to go down that route. And for those of you who are and have been depressed, I feel your pain, and I am with you. And I could talk to you anytime you want to. But when you go there, it's like this. When you're in the forest, you can't see the trees. And when I start to go down there, I could see the glimpse of it, and I don't want to. My son walks by me, and he gives me a tap on the shoulder, like a little punch on the shoulder. And he goes, Dad, keep up the good work. And he walks away. And I'm looking at him, it's like, you have been through misery, open heart surgery, a stroke by age 9, cobra counter neck, incubator for a whole month,
Wow.
oxygen, 99.9% oxygen, enlarged heart. You needed bone marrow when you were born. All these things. And not once have I ever heard him say, I'm done. That's it. I'm giving up. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
that was such a moment for me that shifted my whole being, if you will. And at that moment, then I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, "What the hell is my excuse?" Sorry for those people I'm teasing it, but it's like, what is my excuse not to do and move and pick up myself and get to the point where I've been and want to be? And
Hmm.
each one of us has that drive, right?
Yeah.
You have a why. My why is different than your why, than everyone else's why. In this case, he really just boosted me up, and I decided I want to pay back. I want to give back. I've been serving on many committees all these years, but not in this capacity. So now I created the charity that is named the Upside of Down Syndrome. And if you want to see what that is, go to the Upside of Down Syndrome Charity.com. And I'm writing a book. It's called guess what? The Upside of Down Syndrome also.
Yeah.
That says my son, my hero, and the inspiration he gave me when I was paralyzed. And with it, I put a lot of facts about the things he taught me more than what I taught him. I
Yeah.
thought I was being a pioneer, paving the road for him to get to places where he has never been. And here I'm realizing as I'm writing the book, oh my God, actually, yeah, he led me to learn differentiated instructions. He led me to lead in a school system that I was the chair for reorganizing the entire local school district. And we
Yeah.
changed the curriculum and the teaching methods so that teachers can teach all the kids at no matter what abilities and no matter what learning styles you might have, right?
Mhm.
So do
Yeah.
you have a learning? What's your learning style, Gary?
It's my learning style. It's kind of I'm weird. My learning style. It's hands on, and it's got to be like a fast paced scenario. I can't
Perfect.
if it's too slow. Like I just can't comprehend it.
You
Yeah.
get bored and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
lose your
I
mind
get
out.
bored. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm, by the way, similar to you in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
I have the same thing, but I also like to see it.
Yes.
I'm more visual and hands-on and a faster pace
Hmm.
than just like slow it down. If I slow down things, I probably just get frustrated.
Yep.
That sounds
Yeah.
like you. But
Yeah.
there
Oh
are
yeah. Most
the other
definitely.
people, though,
Yeah.
they may not be that style at all. They may be a reader.
Hmm.
There may be a listener.
Yeah.
And so when you take those in, if you are an instructor or coaches, we should know that, right? But this is where I've learned it from literally having to do things for my son is the fact that
Hmm.
as a teacher, as an educator, as an expert, as a relationships goes, you need to know who your audience. You need
Yeah.
to know who your client is, right? Whether it's a student, a teacher, a rehabber, an owner, and I realized that when the teachers are delivering material in all these learning styles, guess what? You're covering 100% of the audience. You're not just focused on 25% of that audience because
Hmm.
there are four learning styles out there, typically speaking. So now all other
Yep.
teachers go through the training to teach and put lesson plans that helps all the kids learn at the same time in all their styles. That was
Yeah.
huge. And that was not for me, for my son.
Hmm.
And as a result, I learned that to use it with my audience.
That
Therefore,
is
go ahead.
that's powerful.
Thank you. I
That is,
agree. It is powerful. And
yep.
I was like reflecting back. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
It's amazing what our children what they teach us, and like
Unbelievable.
yeah, looking back, even when I was a kid, I never thought like, oh, I'm teaching the. In fact, I was like, oh man, I know more than my mom and dad type of scenario,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
and so, but in reality, like I learn every day from my son.
We
Um,
have,
yeah.
that's amazing. And the things you probably learned from him are so powerful to help
Hmm.
you propel forward if you focus and listen.
Yep. Absolutely.
And,
So yeah.
and listening is a huge skill.
Hmm. Yep. It is. So.
Sometimes, and I, not perfect, my wife goes, honey, listen. It's like, oh, I messed that boat on that one.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to step back and actually listen, don't you? So,
Exactly. You just have to be intently listening, actively listening, empathetically listening. And those are all different styles
mhm.
of listening that I actually coach my clients on. But the intent behind it is where you put your heart into it. You have to connect with the person you're talking to, no matter who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And once that's established, we always talk about the real estate. The biggest thing in real estate is what? Relationships, relationships, relationships. I've been doing this for 31 years, and I did not state that in the beginning, actually, just because I don't want to put everything out there, by the way, about people. I've been doing real estate investing for 31 years.
Yeah.
I developed the real estate 1% rule method, and I wrote a book on it. It's called The Real Estate 1%, Create Passive Income and the Wealth You Desire. And the biggest lesson and thing I have applied for all these 31 years is my relationships with the people.
Yeah.
Even tenants, they are your relationships. You build relationships. They're a tenant. They provide your income. You don't look at them in numbers. They're human beings.
Yeah.
The relationships you establish with your tenants and how you deal with them can propel you forward. They could bring more other clients in. They could bring other referrals. Yep. They're more tenants. And before you know it, I actually bought houses literally because I have people that want a house upgrade.
Yeah.
They own, like they were living in an efficiency and they want a 3-bedroom house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure.
Absolutely.
You're fine. You could afford it. No problem.
Yeah.
If I buy it, would you rent it? Yes. So I bought it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, you've been doing this for 31 years, and, you've got the book called Real Estate 1% Rule. What exactly is the 1% rule?
The 1% rule is a method and technique that if you apply, you will be able to determine the best way to purchase a property, no matter what, whether it's from MLS or anything else. And by the way, just to clarify something for your audience, when I started my business, I really didn't have foreclosures, short sales, owner occupied. There's like a contract, subcontracting, land contract. I didn't do any of that. I went straight up to the listings.
Mm-hmm.
A realtor, they have rental property, boom. But what do we do right now in order to purchase a property? We need to know how much it's costing us, right? What can I sell it for if it comes time to that, right?
Yep.
What's the percent of vacancies I'm going to have? Maintenance cost, utilities cost, principal, interest, and then how much profit do I have a margin in, right? Yep. And ultimately, equity built into the house over time.
Yep.
All these calculations, that's what most often than not, real estate investors do, correct?
Yep.
Yes. What if my technique is I don't need to know any of that?
Mm-hmm.
Now think about it. I don't need to determine all these costs because my 1% rule is such a method that I applied up to 2030. By the way, all these techniques of calculations that I just listed, I didn't learn that until 2013.
Yeah.
I've been doing business in real estate investing since 1990. And in 2013, I've learned how to do it where everybody else knows. Why? Because that's what they want to see, because I don't do it that way. Yeah. And the 1% essentially gets you immediately to the same end result as all these techniques of calculations and so forth to determine whether this is a profitable way to buy this property. Are you going to break more than even in it? And are you going to make any profits? And I've been blessed with this rule. I have consistently made more than 10%. Let's put it this way. I won't tell you the percentages because I'm not boasting. I don't want to brag. But the simplest way I like to say it, in 31 years, I have never lost money in real estate. Yeah. I repeat, 31 years, I have never lost money in real estate using this technique.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that says something. So, Ahmed, why did you actually get into real estate? Like, what was that? Like, I mean, 30 some years ago, and why are you staying in it so long? Like, I talk to guys that, been in it for a long time as well, but then you also run guys that, I used to flip houses or I used to do rentals, but I got tired of the toilets. And, but I mean, you're very consistent, and you've been doing it for a long time. And like, what made you get started? What did you do before real estate?
Well, That's a great question. Before I was doing real estate, I was a young lad, as I say, came off the boat.
Okay.
I actually was born in Kuwait. I'm Palestinian.
Okay.
I am the oldest of a family of nine that we
Wow.
lived in an apartment. I think it visually because I don't remember exact dimensions, but I will say we lived in a two-bedroom apartment that two rooms acted as a bedroom and a second bedroom at night, living room and a family room in the daytime. A
Hmm.
hallway, a bathroom, and a kitchen, altogether maybe 700 square feet of space.
For 9 people?
Nine people.
Wow.
And as a Palestinian, I wasn't able to go to the regular public schools. So eventually, the PLO, which most people may remember that or not, or Yasser Arafat, he negotiated terms with the government of Kuwait and rented all the public schools in the evening so we can go to schools.
Okay.
So that's how I went to school. If it wasn't for his actions, I would never have been educated. And
Wow.
honestly, I'm always grateful for that. And I came to go to college, went to the university. I wanted to be an engineer, so I became a geologist, geophysicist with
Okay.
an engineering background. One day, I was first room I rented. I had a suitcase, but I didn't have any furniture. As simple as that. So I wasn't about to rent, and furniture and stuff. So I want something else with open suitcase, put stuff in. I'm good to go. And
Yep.
one evening, I'm laying in bed. I have a big window next to me, and I loved it. And I saw something run across the room, and I'm like, I had a lot more hair back then, and I actually had an afro, just to get that to your audience. I should pull that picture out one of these days. Anyway, going
Yeah.
back to this point. So I'm scratching my head. Do I want to get out of bed? Do I not? Do I want to get out of bed? Do I not? Do I want to get out of bed? Eventually, I got out of bed and turned the light on, and there was a nice big rock. And I'm like, oh. Most people would say what at this point? Do you think?
I don't know, man. Like, get out of there.
Disgusting. God, what am I? Oh, what am I doing here? Jump on the bed, etc. The interesting thing, the thing that came out of my mouth is, I can't. This will never happen in my places.
Uh huh.
That was 1980.
Okay.
1990, I owned my first house. But the main reason that got me to that point is that statement subconsciously stayed there. So
Yeah.
as a result of that, I found myself looking for people, seeking out people who are doing real estate. Ask me how much I know about real estate at that point in time.
Zero.
Zero. I mean, it's like, what? You have cardboards for walls? I mean, seriously, you have wood? I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with that. I'm accustomed to steel and concrete
Yeah.
and ceramic tiles and marble, and I come up here to wood, and I call it cardboard at the time,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, drywall. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, so eventually I rented a place for 5 years. Now, I graduated from college, and I started working on my postgraduate in engineering geology. And then my brother needs to go to college. I remember I said I have 9 kids in the family. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? I'm the oldest. So in our culture, if you will, then all of a sudden the one helped the second helped the third helps the fourth,
Yeah.
supposedly. But it turned out I'm helping everyone, which is okay, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful that I did. So the one who's going to college, I'm paying for his college. Well, I'm working as a professional geologist here, right?
Hmm.
I couldn't make ends meet. I took a second job as a waiter, a server. I mean, everybody knows what Brown Derby is, right?
Yep.
I was a server there every night as
Wow.
a second job after my full day job.
Yeah.
Why? Because I have a brother in college. I have $800 in rent, plus utilities, plus phone bills, plus. I'm winging out. I can't keep up with this.
Yeah.
So 5 years later, after renting this place, and I'm terrified to death because I'm not sure how to get into it. Honest to God, I've been looking, seeking, even the people I seek, and they know real estate.
Hmm.
every time I want to learn, and it's like, yeah, we'll just do this. It's like, what is this? Tell me more, And
Yeah.
I'm not getting that really invest. So one day I had the landlord came to pick up the rent, and as I'm giving him the rent, and his name is Bob, and I said, "This is what I did, Bob. Would you be willing to sell your house?" And I was doing this. What does that mean? I am expecting a no
You're
answer.
expecting a no, yeah.
Well, as I was doing this, he goes, "Sure." I'm like, "What? Did you say yes?" And I was floored. I mean, I was like in a shock. First of all, I was terrified to death to ask.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. How many of us will come across a property and or have a deal with in their hands and they're terrified to put an offer on it?
Yep. Because they're
Have you
afraid
ever
to
seen?
ask.
Exactly. And I was terrified. I literally was terrified. And when he said yes, and I'm like, sure. Like, what? Back the price up. I said, there's one problem. He goes, what is that? I swear to God, he's a firefighter. He's
Yeah.
really bulked out, and here I am, not as muscle mass as he is at the time. And he goes, I go, I don't have money.
Okay.
How many of us can relate to that? I mean, I'm working 2 jobs,
Yeah.
but I don't have money. Nothing saved. And the look in his face was like, what? And I could see the house disappear. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Now, people, let me qualify this. I was buying the house because I was doing a little research. If you're not familiar with FHA,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good tool, especially if you're a first-time buyer.
Yep.
As an investor, you have a lot more tools now, and we can help you with those, obviously. But
Yep.
if you did not know and you're not sure, just ask about FHA loan first-time home buyer. Maybe there is a program available, maybe not. That
Mm-hmm.
was the tool that I gave me the way in.
Okay.
But it needed the house to be inspection and violation free.
Yeah.
Inspected and violation free.
Yep.
Now I know this guy. I've been renting from him for 5 years. How much money did I pay this guy? Ready? Imagine there's 10 months a year.
Yep.
I paid $800 a month. How much is that?
Yeah. You say like, yeah.
That's 8,000.
Yeah.
I paid that for 5 years.
Yeah.
How much money is that? $40,000.
Yep.
That's based on 10 months. So do you think the guy in the mid 80s got money for the house that paid more than the house is worth?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Probably. But he has
Yep.
a second unit, a
Yeah.
duplex. So he's making a boatload of money. And
Yep.
I'm thinking to myself, this guy makes money. And when
Mm-hmm.
he agreed, I said, okay, since he's a slumlord because my ceiling dropped and fell for 2 months before he came to repair it,
Yeah.
I knew there's a lot of problems. I didn't know what they are because I'm not an expert in real estate. Now I am, but then I did not.
Yeah.
And he just like looks at his face like I just lost the house. Would you do something quickly? Most of us would love to do something quickly, right? Like
Yep.
I have a stack of cash somewhere. Well, I didn't have any of that. So I had to think fast on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, what if he can fix these things, but
Yeah.
not for free? You go, what? What if I gave you more money, Bob,
Yeah.
to do the repairs and keep whatever's left? What do
Mm-hmm.
you think in your mind would be needed to do the repairs?
Yeah.
And give me a little bit margin above it. So we put a number on that and we added that to the price of the house.
Okay.
So he and I agreed the price of the house now include the price of the house plus all possible repairs that may be cited as a problem with the inspection so
Yeah.
that it become violation free house.
Okay.
And extra bonus for him to manage the project because this is his house and he's going to be handling everything.
Yeah.
Even though owners are supposed to do that, but I want the duplex.
Yeah.
Why do I want the duplex?
Probably so you can live in one side and rent the other.
Hallelujah. The result was simple. I had to put no money down because the house I paid is higher at the time that I didn't need to put any money down. I didn't put any money out of my pocket. The closing cost went into the loan.
Yep.
Unless you live in Canada, then you have to come up with the closing cost. But if you live in Ohio or the US, your closing cost can go back into the loan. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? I paid zero. And this is the best part. What did I get in return? One, I no longer pay $800 a month in rent.
Yep.
That's to my pocket, which means now I can pay my brother's tuitions in college with it. Two, the rent coming out of the downstairs unit or the second unit in the house, had you paid my principal, my interest, my utilities, now wait a minute, my own utilities were included in that,
Yeah.
taxes and insurance,
Yep.
plus some extra money.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
You're living there for free.
I'm living there for free. I'm making over $1,000+ a month.
Yep.
And I'm making a little bit of extra cash on top of that.
Yep.
And I live in a 4-bedroom apartment. I'm like amazed,
Yeah.
Now I feel I can breathe.
Yeah.
And as I did that, I realized, like, I'm onto something here.
There you
Would
go.
you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think that should be everybody's first property is like a duplex, right out of high school, So
Talking about, did you get a duplex the first one?
no, my first one was just a single family home, and then my first, it was like the first like 2 or 3 that I bought were like duplexes though. Yeah.
Okay. My advice, if somebody would to do that right now today,
Yeah.
do more than duplex.
Well, sure. Yeah.
If you can get a 4, which is considered residential still, once you pass, I think the 4 depends on the side of structure.
It goes on the commercial side, yeah.
Then you hit in commercial. But if you are owner occupied, get a 4 to start out with.
Yep.
And then you could build it slowly by going 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
And before you know it, you own quite a few properties, and you don't have to meet the 70% if you do a bank loan. They require 30-70, kind of 80-20.
Yeah.
Well, if you're owner occupied and now you move into another one you're going to live in, guess what? You don't need that requirement of a commercial or real estate investing where you have to come up with a large down payment.
Yep.
If you're doing that route, if you're doing the private money, God bless. You could buy anything and do whatever it is. If you have your own investors that they buy with you, whatever, that's fine. But if you do use the banks, the best tool is to go 4, 3, 2, 1, and then hit the full investing mode.
Yeah.
And this way you build assets, you build equity, you build things, and passive income is the biggest thing we all look for, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You got to have that passive income. So
to live the life we want.
Yep.
Yep. I was telling you I was hitting my personal trainer this morning.
Yeah. So, Ahmed, you've been traveling the world for a couple of years now, speaking on stages, talking about your book and training individuals. What are some of the things that you've noticed on like your students? What's some of like the biggest challenges you've had to come across with your students to get them to be successful?
All right, that's an excellent question, Gary. The biggest is mindset. Yeah. Mindset. Number one, they want to get started, but they're so trapped into a lot of things that I would call baggage that we have in our lives that causes us to fear. I told you I was fearful to ask that question. Why? Because I don't want to be rejected.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the answer no. And that's like, But when you really are in this business, and my clients' first step with them I need to clean that up.
Yeah.
I need to reshape the mindset and shift their paradigm so that they can establish success.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the biggest one. Now, when I teach about the principles of, in a way, success in a, mindset, one of the first things to do is a personal success leads to business success. Would you agree with that statement?
Yep.
Okay. So what affects who you are to the audience that's listening?
Yeah.
There are 5 things that are impacts each one of us personal success. Can you tell me any of them, Gary? What shapes who you are?
What's the question? What shapes who you are?
Right.
Well, I mean, it's your personality and so forth, your
Okay.
attitude. Yeah.
Right. First of all, it's genetics.
Mm-hmm.
We are who we are. This is called the hardware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Genetically, you can't change that. Well, I mean, they can probably nowadays, but this is what you were born with. This is the genetic makeup you got. You're gonna be bold, blind, blue eyes, purple, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So that has a factor into who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
who we are impacts what we become personally and the mindset we have. Therefore, we can succeed or not succeed personally and the business.
Yeah.
The second one is, as much as we like not think about it, but when we fall into a stressful situation, like let's say a kid's crying, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then you launch and pick them up to try to soothe their crying and try to get them to stop, right?
Yep.
Where did you learn that from?
Wow. I probably just seen other people do it, or
Right,
just
and
literally
family and
instincts in a sense.
exactly. So our upbringing, principles and values and religion and teachings, whether with our parents, our relatives, or family, those have an imprint on who we are, right?
Yeah.
But they could
Absolutely.
also successfully or not successfully lead us to our mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Agree?
Yep.
3, the relationships. If I have relationships with you, my family, my girlfriend, my wife, my this and that, as you grow, all these relationships impacts how we think.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm saying all these things, just to numb it up with 2 more, our experiences, our life experiences. When you buy the first house and you fail miserably at it and you stop,
Yep.
that impacts your being, therefore impacts how you behave and react moving forward.
Yeah.
Unless your mindset is determined to succeed. So therefore you push forward and reshift and modify it to succeed again. And
Yeah.
finally, the choices. If you make a choice to come back from that experience and move on forward, then guess what? Success is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the factors that I see a lot is how clean is the mindset of my clients, and that has been consistently the issue, and the fear
Mm-hmm.
is the second one.
Yeah.
Mindset and fear. Overcoming fear, shifting your mindset and paradigm, and you on your way. Plus a lot more other things, but those are 2 big factors. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Oh no, those are good points. Definitely. All the people I talk to, I mean, the biggest thing that sets like me apart from a lot of people I've actually talked to is mindset. The fear. Most people are feared to be rejected, and I was there. I had to seek help to allow me to overcome. I had mentors that they pounded in me that I'm. It's okay to be rejected for the most part. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And one thing I've learned personally, the rejection is not a rejection of who you are.
Yeah.
It's a rejection of the things you're offering
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
wanted to do. And if we could personal, each one of us, if I really give advice out there, at least for me, this is what I discovered. When someone rejects eventually, even though every time I get rejected, I get devastated initially, I'm like, oh God. But if that led me to see, are they rejecting me personally or are they
Mm-hmm.
rejecting the deal?
Yeah.
And if you could separate those two slightly, where rejection of the offer is not a rejection of you, all of
Yep.
a sudden you're feeling and your being becomes so much more powerful that, oh, okay, no big deal. They don't like
Yep.
this offer, so let's make a different deal. Can we offer you this? Can we do a contract on that? Like the offering of adding money into the house. And once you get to that level of looking at any rejection, any deal, any relationship that you're working through, it's not a rejection of you, but it's a rejection of the deal at hand at the table. So
Yep.
moving on and work on another one.
Absolutely. Yep. So awesome. So what's it like talking on stage to other real estate investors and kind of being like the authority? What's it like on that end?
To me, it's exhilarating. I am in my. It's just so exciting to be able to give value to your audience and the stage specifically.
Yep.
It's exhilarating to see everyone in the audience when they look down and see hundreds of people there, and they're all intently want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They want to gain the knowledge so that they can move on and make life bigger for themselves, whatever their objective is.
Yeah.
Give them the tools
Mm-hmm.
that can help them to succeed. And by the way, if I may, anyone who's watching or want to watch, you could go AIM, the number 4 instead of the FOR, success2020.com.
Yep.
They can get actually a copy of a chapter of my book. But for those of people that actually do it through
I've got
the
a link
show,
here. I'll put it on the bottom there.
yeah, thank you. Anyone that will go there, actually, I'm not just going to give you the link. Would you get a chapter, and if you like it, please reply back and get hold of me and so forth. And you have access or Ahmed360.com, which is my first name, 360.com. They could reach out to me, and I will actually send you a book.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
For that matter. Now, for those people, just FYI, if anyone decides to purchase the book, I tell this: my book money does not come to me; it goes to my charity.
Yeah.
Just FYI, I don't get rich off of it, nor do I want to get rich off of it. I just want to make sure you get the tools and so forth. But being on stage with Jack Canfield, if you don't know who Jack Canfield is, for example. He's the guy who created Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yep, Chicken Soup. Yep.
And he's the only human being that have been a New York Times best-selling author 7 times in a row.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Generated over 500 million, produced 500 million copies worldwide. It's unbelievable. It's just amazing. And or Les Brown, your mentor. And my mentor, I mean, I had 3 amazing strategic planning sessions with him, one-on-one on the same table, having lunch together. Oh my God. The guy is phenomenal. You gotta be hungry. Everyone has a story, and every one of us has something in us that leads us to propel forward.
Yeah.
And I truly, truly believe in that. When I was paralyzed, that was a hard time for me personally. And to be able to overcome that mentally, physically, emotionally, just to be able to do all these things that I did once. I'm not 100% to this day from where I was.
Yeah.
But I'm still at it. I never stop. I am persistent. I'm determined. I have set goals. I want to achieve. And those are the things that AIM stands for.
Yeah.
Achieve, invest, and master the real estate 1%. That's what AIM comes from. So the 3 of them combination will provide you the tools to always, always succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So, hey, I know we're getting close to our max time here.
Wow.
It went really quick. I love your story, though. I really do.
Thank you.
I didn't realize you were actually born in Kuwait, and I did not. I knew when I first met you, you had some, health issues. I didn't know you was actually paralyzed. So that's awesome. I'm proud of you, and you've accomplished a lot. and especially over the last few years since I met you. What's some kind of like parting words of wisdom, Ahmed, that getting started in the real estate business? Where do we start? What does that look like for somebody? How does that work for you?
What works for me may be different for others. Let me say that up front. Your first, I think, and foremost tool is determine what exactly do you want to do. Meaning, do you feel comfortable being a passive income, which means buy and hold?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to buy and flip? Or do you want to buy, rehab, and flip? Or do you want to create turnkey operations? Lease contractors, rent to own, all these are tools.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your comfort level? Money, a lot of people I hear quite often, as a matter of fact, in my discussions and talks, even the cable guy. One day he came to my house. He said, "Hey, I'm saving money. I saved up $30,000." I said, "Oh my God, seriously?" Because yeah, I'm waiting to get a little more so I can buy a house. And I'm dying here. It's like, dude, if you saved up $30,000, why is it sitting in a bank? When you realize that money sits in a bank, it's the same thing as sitting in your mattress, that over time loses value.
Yep.
And I like the purchasing power of anything you have reduces if that money is not producing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you one piece of advice. If you have money, and you happen to have money, any money, and if it's not producing income for you, it's losing money.
Yeah.
If it is a house you bought and your money is all tied up in a house, you're losing money.
Mm-hmm.
It's always take the money and reinvest, take the money out to reinvest, take the money out to reinvest, expand and grow. So define what it is you want to do. How comfortable are you? What venue of finances you want to go with, whether it's a private lenders, like Alan has an amazing program. Gary, you provide a lot of tools for social media and how to really master some of these techniques. You've done real estate as well. I have done some of real estate as well. And just find who it is that you want to be associated with to help you out if you're not.
Yeah.
But the last one about that is when you pick one, stick with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how many people will say, okay, I'm going to go to Alan today. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Larry and Joe Schmo and John Smith. And all of a sudden you have 5, 6 different styles of coaching and techniques.
Yep.
But you never settled on one, which means you're like this ping pong, bouncing all over the world like that game. Keep bouncing the walls, you have to hit it and keep bouncing. That's what it is if you don't focus on exactly where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the final thing is set your goals, objectives, what it is you want to do, how much it is you want to buy, how many properties. And to help you with that, I'll leave you with this since it's the last few seconds. SMART. Use the principles called SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. If it means those 5 in setting goals, then you can monitor these things to succeed. Otherwise, you're going to struggle.
That's awesome. I love the SMART goals aspects. So, yep. So again, Ahmed, you're an amazing man. I appreciate it. And you've done a lot of amazing things, and your recovery is absolutely amazing. The support you're doing for the Down syndrome population is obviously even more amazing. I love the fact that you've actually started a charity and, going that route, and you're leaving a legacy for your family. So I'm going to put your website up again here at the bottom. Go ahead, go to Ahmed's website, get a download of a free copy of a book or a portion of a book, chapter, and check Ahmed out. So we appreciate it, guys. Ahmed, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you so much, and I'm really, really grateful for being on such an amazing show. You're an amazing guy, and I really, really appreciate it. And I've learned a lot from you as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So I appreciate it. So, hey, guys, again, thanks for tuning in today. Tune in next week, next Monday, and we'll see you guys then. Thank you.